we started with this crusty old blue dune buggy. The thing is, with a car this crazy, you never know how people are going to react.
Right? Look, he's getting excited.
We are on the right track here. Looks like I got another wild adventure on my hands. We just have to one-up everything we've done so far. It all started when my friend Johnny and I came up with this idea for this wild 70s style show car.
Oh, wow, dude, how cool is that? If you see something you want, you know instantly, and that was instantly.
When Tom came in, the whole game got stepped up, and I got to work on the fabrication. Right there's your custom exhaust setup. Then Johnny and I went on the hunt for some paint inspiration. I mean, just a two-tone, you know, blue and white,
Yeah, see, dude,
turquoise and white.
that works.
Yeah. After some back and forth, we settled on a classic look, but not without our own special touch.
You know, remember the old mud flaps? You know, the back off.
100%.
These damn vomits, back off.
We got a bunch of ideas floating around, but now it's time to make it happen. So this is what it's all been leading up to. We got this thing painted, not completely, this is the start of the process. This is the base coat. It's an Eastwood product, it's called Cruise Night Blue. This is the time we've been waiting for, a time when all the things start coming together and the dogs are on the edge of their seat. Last time you saw it, you know, Johnny and I came up with this paint scheme, so this is the first step in the process. You'll have to hold all questions until after. No dog bowls were used. Pretty cool? Johnny and I decided no crazy freak out paint job. It's gonna be two-tone, blue and white. You know, blue fenders with a white hood and roof. Now I need to figure out where those parting lines are. There was one point of concern between Johnny's drawing and this car, and by putting the base coat on, you could see the line. It makes it clear as day. Really digging this blue base coat. What it does is makes every body line just pop. Look at this line. Look at this brilliant reflection of the highlights. You know, that didn't exist with the primer. So we were unsure as to what was going to happen with this tape coming through this area. It may seem like Johnny and I have already covered this, but the thing is, this body is representing its own shapes independent from the artwork, so I have to follow the line of the actual car. Gotta look right with the car, and this is the moment to make it happen. This is the end result, you know, this is what you see. So, you know, whatever it is, it's just gotta be that showstopper. The problem with the Fairweather friends, namely the shop inspectors, is they got all the motivation in the world for about 10 minutes at a clip. The whole thing with any of my projects, it's not outside of my means to just, you know, farm out the whole paint job, but you know, I want to do just like all the old timers, you know, all the legends of customizing. You know, I want to build the entire thing straight through. I'm a glutton for punishment, and the only way to punish yourself properly is to do everything yourself. The thing about a tape job is when you're shooting a straight line, you can use a rigid tape for around the corners and whatnot. You need a vinyl tape. I got this 3M product, and it works perfect. After the lines are figured out, you know, it's time to mask it. And this is a fairly basic two-tone thing, but you know, it's easy to get dyslexic, especially side to side. The most important thing is to remember what stays blue and what don't. So I'm just gonna start by working off this little area. So this was one thing that I thought was pretty neat about Johnny's idea. But I'm gonna one-up that just a wee bit. It just needs a little tweak to the front of the roof line. The way that the white parts with the blue, I feel like it would just be better accented if the white was just a panel on top. That way there'll just be that little hint of blue right there, and then that's white. So this is one thing that was kind of a breakthrough with Johnny was this interesting thing on the hood here. This blue comes through and it does like a roller coaster over the dashboard, up and around. The hood and the roof cap are white. There's a white side graphic, but the car is basically blue. These lines are defined. You know, I just need to get the white paint on and then see what comes next. I got the white laid out. I put some silver flake on top of that, and it's got 3 coats of clear. What do you think? Pretty sparkly, huh? The whole concept with this is like fantasy show car, right? So I just want to spike it up 1 notch, you know? I want the whole thing to shimmer. Even though the white looks great on its own, you know, the metal flake really does its job. Well, I'm real happy with the way the silver and the white came together. I was a little concerned that the car would go silver, but it's totally white for sure. Let's take off this tape and see what it looks like. The dogs are pretty nervous because they understand the importance of a clean brake once you pull the tape line. And, you know, I'm not known for being so meticulous. So let's pull this tape off and see how it looks. It's like scratching an itch. There is a tremendous satisfaction in seeing these tape lines peel back. Everything looks tight. You know, the contrast is right where I want it. The deadline I'm trying to make is 3 weeks from yesterday. There's a great show coming up, and I think it'll be a perfect place to take this for its first time out. Barring any major issue, we should be able to make that deadline. But again, it's always a coin flip. A major issue could arise at any moment. Oh yeah, that's pretty rad. That two-tone worked out good. It really adds something to this C-cab shape right here. I think this is my favorite part of it. The way that the white just comes forward, so you have these 2 stabbing lines. The panels needed to have a little more action than the body was affording, and by just freestyling some tape, it really adds to the line of the car. The lines are lining up. This is rad for sure, but something about the front view is just super white. Saying of, you know, every action has an equal and opposite reaction stands true even in this case. As spectacular as the white has come out, what it's done is totally dulled down the blue. As awesome as it looked with a blue base coat, now the white is just popping and the blue almost looks like primer again. Needs a lot more action for sure. The blue just looks like a matte finish now. Front on view, it's just lacking a little something. See how the sunroof will break up the big white panel in the roof? I almost feel like the hood, those 2 awesome shapes, the 2 bulges in the hood almost disappear. It's like the sunroof in the top. The windshield is gonna break up this massive panel of white on the hood. Yeah, see, all of a sudden it's a different view. I don't want to overdo the paint by any means. I just want it to match. So right now the blue and the white are not cooperating. It really just looks muted now by this brilliant two-tone. It's looking like 2 different cars right now. The windshield definitely helps out this white panel in the front, but not 100% convinced. It looks like I'm gonna have to come up with a few other solutions for this issue. I got an idea for the blue. I'm gonna try a little more paint work and see what it looks like tomorrow. I addressed my 2 main problems with the paint. I added blue to the ridges on the hood to break up the white panel. You know, I really bumped up the value of the blue with 2 tones of metal flake and then a gang of clear coat on top of everything. So now it's really starting to shine. I got the gas cap in, the portholes in, you know, this car is really starting to take shape. But I think the design could use one thing to further the whole effort.
Color combo came out nice. I like that blue. It makes the white pop. It looks really nice.
I brought in my friend Gilbert to add a little graphic element to the rear of the fenders, and I think that's gonna just set it off perfect. My friend Tom Flores, he's done a lot of graphic design work for me, so I had him and Gilbert get together on this project. Tom came up with a font as per my specs, and Gilbert's gonna transfer that to a real live paint work on the car. The background of work that I've seen Gilbert thriving in is like, you know, strict lowrider stuff. So he shows up in this red Volkswagen Bug. I used to get a lot of flack for being into VWs.
Oh yeah, I still love Beetles. I got one, a brand new old one right there.
There you go.
It's a classic.
You know, he's talking about how he's excited to get involved with something outside of the parameters that I've seen him working in.
I started out building Volkswagen, so
That's me too.
I'm all about it, man.
So you're the right guy for the job. I think it's really important to be versatile. You know, he gets stuck in one niche, and I think I would stagnate, so I build a lot of different styles of cars. All I'm saying is the whole vibe of this thing is like the funky 70s, so whatever you like.
Bell-bottom lettering, man. Can't get more 70s than that, unless you bring Scooby-Doo in here.
That's it, man. That font is perfect, dude. Exactly. I was thinking a decal. Gilbert is gonna one-up it, handmade.
So then what I'll do is I'm gonna silver leaf these, let them set up, and then we'll do the turn, the engine turn, so they have the little twist, and then I'll outline it, do the drop shadow.
While you're doing that, I got a little upholstery stuff to take care of, so if you need anything, I'll be 2 feet behind you. I'll be right over in the upholstery shop. The main issue here is Jack is my upholstery guy, and he went and moved to Chicago, so I'm left without any resource. I don't even have a sewing machine. All I could do is pull from the experience and working with him and try to get something done. Honest Ian's Full Custom Upholstery. Our tagline is, when mediocre is just what you need, call us. The last project I saw Gilbert working on was the silverleaf design on the side of the Riviera that Victor and I built, and I was just blown away. I've never seen the process before, and Gilbert makes it look like a walk in the park. So that I want on the car, for sure. That's why I called him. So what color will you pinstripe it with?
I'll do white around this. Around the silver is gonna be white, and this drop shadow is gonna be like that powder robinette.
Cool. Thing is, it wouldn't really be 70s if it didn't have like that drop shadow in the font.
Hey, did Victor ever redo the Rivi? Did you guys ever figure anything out with the taillights, how to put them in there, or what style he was gonna do, even if he was gonna run taillights?
No, we haven't figured anything out. It seems like everybody's been asking, you know, the last project you and Victor did, that Rivi, you know, was never settled. So what did you guys do with the taillights? He's a bundle of ideas as usual, but that's the task. We're gonna figure out how to finish the car. People are asking me like I could possibly know what's going on in Victor's mind. That's basically what the inside detail is. It'll have this little miniature hatch.
That's nice.
Oh yeah, totally. Oh yeah, look at the view from here. It's exactly what it needed. Different than anything I've seen, it's perfect. Your job is done here. I'm feeling really good about this paint job, but there's a whole other issue I have to approach next. Just like with the paint work, you know, I modified a couple things, and I'm seeing this huge issue with the fabrication aspect of this. The fact is, you can't get in the car. You know, how is a person gonna get into this thing? You know, there's gonna be a window here. It's just, looks great, it's a nice toy, but you gotta be able to get in. This is a pretty big deal, but now is the time to address it. There's only a couple options. You know, I do not want to cut this body or hinge the roof or anything. It's got to remain intact as one piece. The car's got no doors, but it's got to open somehow. So if you got to make something open, you start with a hinge. So I made one giant hinge. The chassis, everything it takes to drive the car, seats, steering, everything is on the floor, and the body just picks up off of it. People hop in and the body shuts. This is kind of hairy for me because this is basically a live performance in front of the world. But the benefit of it is, if this works, the whole car is going to be open like a clamshell. This is vintage fiberglass. We just did a ton of work to it. The last thing I need is for the body to flex and crack. You know, it's completely painted. I've got hundreds of hours into this finished paint job, and now I'm stressing the whole structure in a way it was never designed to. As strong as this fiberglass body is, where I'm grabbing it with the hinge doesn't have a lot of structure. So I've gone underneath with a lot of heavy steel and bracing and really reinforced around the whole firewall of the car. This is something that is being done by necessity, but it's pretty dicey. The thing about these dogs is it's like instinctive, you know, they can tell when the pack leader is stressed. He can sense it. This is his way of handling things. One thing I need to keep reminding myself is that inspector does not equal assistant. Could you hand me a wrench? Business as usual. You think fiberglass car and you think lightweight. That's not the fact with this body. As petite as it is, it's still pretty darn heavy. So I need something with some serious lift capacity and extension. I got these two big hydraulic rams. So I'm gonna put these in and hook them up to some air and see what happens. I don't know where you would get these new, but they're actually a part of my old city bus. These two rams were the main lift mechanism for the wheelchair lift. All right, so everything's hooked up. You know, this is the make it or break it moment, because I'm sure this has enough power to just rip itself apart. I got the rams hooked up to the air lines. I'm gonna test it with air because that has less power than hydraulics, but it's still got a lot of power. So hopefully this lifts with 150 PSI. I'm feeling like a big question mark. I don't know what to expect. Let's see what happens, because this is not an exact science. First try. No dice. Let's see what's wrong. Something is completely bound up. You know, in kind of quick troubleshooting this, I realized that the body of the hydraulic ram has just been forced into a static position by this round tube. Problem was, see, these need a little room to shake. At least it didn't rip the whole body apart. You know, that was the other potential, was that the body stays still and the rams go right through the roof. Let's see what happens this time. So if anything goes wrong, I want you both to go that way really fast. Get ready. Yes. Hey, it's the simple things that thrill me. That is totally cool. Just like you want to see, this thing pops open, like perfect. I was expecting anything, you know, maybe one hinge breaks off, the thing kicks over to the side, you know, there's an emergency recuperation moment. You know, I was ready for it all, and nothing but what was supposed to happen happened. Look, it's my greatest achievement ever. Can we show some enthusiasm? They've seen it all. They're so jaded at this point. But one thing I wasn't considering is these rams being right in the way of the seat. After this great achievement, I still wonder if I'm able to get in the car. That was why I did this. This on itself, this sold the effort for sure. Now all I gotta do is figure out how to get in the car. This is not a sprint, this is a marathon. Marathon with hurdles. We just jumped one, but I could see a lot more on the horizon. There's one thing in my entire career I have always wanted was a hot rod Volkswagen engine. And now it's in the house. Today is D-Day. We're gonna fire this sucker up. Tom says it runs great. The famous last words are always, it ran great when we parked it. So I just asked Tom, what's your emergency contact phone number? What I don't want is a backfire. The only thing I could say about this, as with firing up any engine, gotta have oil pressure, your spark timing has to be on point, and then you gotta make sure you have good fuel delivery and a fully charged battery. And this engine should pop right off. It should. The primary difference here is comparing, say, a garden lawnmower engine to a top fuel dragster. Same concept, wildly different parameters. I just love the look of this engine. Definitely got the cartoon feel. Done all my systems check. I got the oil pressure up, all the electrical parts are making contact, the switch is working, the fuel pump has power to it. So hopefully this doesn't go the way of that Harley. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Or that Model A hot rod. Just gonna turn the key. If there's one thing I know about cars, anything that can go wrong will. That's why I've prepared for this. This is for the rafters and the roof. really hits the fan. Where's that fire extinguisher? Fuel pump on. Yep, that's what I was talking about. And sure enough, like Montezuma's revenge, one turn of the key and there's just gushing. I mean, not a leak, a gushing flow of raw fuel. Seems like a pretty big leak because it is. Hence the high flow fuel pump. That's what it's supposed to do. It's a high performance engine, it needs a lot of fuel. I know these cars and they hate us. The last thing they want to do is run. But the thing is, I am in no way a master engine builder, but I am a troubleshooter. In a perfect world, I will just tap on that with a small hammer and the problem will be fixed. Anybody that knows carburetors knows there's a little float bowl in there, and that's most likely the cause. Tap on the carb a few times, and I'm hoping this simple fix addresses the problem. Otherwise, we got to take this carb apart. Now, with the key turned on, there's no fuel gushing out of the engine. It's time to fire it up. Turn the key, and it starts, just as it was advertised. I love the sound of Volkswagen engines. It's pretty wild with the blower on it. You see these things expanding, it's breathing, which you don't see in a normally aspirated car. It's pretty awesome. It's like a heart. There's no backfiring, there's no nothing but a strong running, clean sounding engine. So this was a major what if, one thing for sure is that it runs, and that is, quite frankly, that's a blessing. That was the wild card in the whole operation. If the car show's coming up literally 5 days, we're down the road. The body's off, it needs to be color sanded and buffed. There's no interior, there's no gauges. There's a lot of stuff that has to get wrapped up, but we're one step closer. As the statement goes, the devil is in the details. Well, this engine and transmission is a great step, but the finished work is what's really going to sell this concept. A little while ago, Victor and I went on this crazy Riviera adventure. We built this custom lowrider. In the end, Victor could not come to terms with a decision on what taillights it should have, and there it sits, still incomplete. Victor knows that I'm in the middle of this crazy project on my own, but he's constant on his endeavors, and he says he's made a decision. Can you just break off for one half a day, help me out? I need to get this car on the road, and we can get that thing finalized. I gotta say, it's highly unorthodox to completely finish a car and then cut the holes for the taillights, but here we go again.
In my defense, I figured out what I want to do.
Good, because it's time. As you know, it's up in the air as to what Victor's thinking, so let's see where we're at.
First option, my friend smoking a bandit's car, Firebird. I'm thinking of maybe two of those. I mean, it's definitely out of proportion.
It's a hard sell, man.
Wait, let me sell better here. Better sell. Figure I'm taking this off, so we're going to here, right? And it starts on this side, look at.
This is the wild card situation I was bracing for. Anything that is heavily modified can work.
That's just option one. We'll look at this and then we'll go to option 2, option 3, 4, and if I have to go to option 5, I will.
Making a decision means different things to different people. The decision he's made is that we're gonna make some decisions all day long. It's good to know you made your mind up. You're down to 5 maybes. The upside of this is, plenty of options mean we're not gonna get pigeonholed into just use this now, let's just get out of this. I could see where you're going with this. This is a good base, but maybe we got something better.
Option number 2, I'm seeing these two like this.
Option 2 is a very different choice from the Firebird lens. Victor's envisioning them to be doubled up, to be Frenched in, like a flush mount. I think it's just too busy. I think, in the end, you're gonna have 8 taillights. Yeah. I think it only needs 2 taillights.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
So there you go. No bueno. Let's see what Victor has in the rest of his bag of tricks.
Check this out. Bought them at a trucker store.
You're that guy that goes in for a cup of coffee on the road and comes out with 16 different taillights. I know your type. I'm constantly running these cartoon scenarios in my head, so I see Victor pulling into the gas station, explaining to his wife, "I'll just be a minute, honey, I gotta use the restroom." Victor's going through the taillights frantically, watching the clock. He's gotta get back, but he still needs those lights. How many taillights does this car need?
I wasn't sure what I wanted, and I wasn't sure how many I needed.
And once you take this wrapper off, they're pretty snazzy. This is an option because it kind of goes in line with what we're doing. It would work. That's kind of interesting.
Maybe we don't put the chrome on it, and we just use the lenses and pop them through.
I mean, the idea of the taillight being that wide and only 1.5 inches tall totally fits it, but just those oval holes, it's like you're not seeing anything round on the car. That's the only issue I have. We're moving right along. We're narrowing this down, but as long as you're not plagued by indecision, things can go well.
And I got two last options.
Two last options.
This is the last one, but together, they have to go together.
Those are cool.
Right.
So it's that flavor, but
Yeah,
you got the
same
chrome.
flavor.
It's the same deal as what you're doing with those other 8 taillight deals. These are looking good. The chrome bezel is what sells it for me. I'm sick of all this tape, man. We got to get something permanent established.
And I guess I'm committing to this because you're drilling in my damn car.
As soon as I hear okay, I'm on it. And then we'll double them up like that.
Yeah, pretty much it looks like it's there.
The thing is, this will look much different once it's Frenched in.
It'll have the look we want. Right now, it's just like paste it on. Okay, Ian, I'm good. I'm committed.
All in all, I think you're making a good decision. Houston, we have a decision. Let's get to it.
Look at another angle too. We were looking at it in the back.
Just
You
said
know,
no
every
more
car
changes.
has different angles.
You just said you were
You're
committed.
not just looking at it in the back angle.
How did you ever walk down the wedding, the wedding aisle when you say I do? How did you ever come to that point when you were that freaking, that dead set on something? Just say I do and let me put the taillights on. I know how this process goes. You gotta strike while the iron is hot.
Ian, wait a minute. I found these.
No, we already went through that.
Or these.
No, that's gonna require a ton of work.
Or these. Hey, when I buy lights, I buy lights.
Because they're ovals, I used a step drill both sides, and then cut across with a little miniature air saw. And always, the thing about fabrication after the car is painted is you're gonna have a color change if you have to respray the panel. And that's what we're trying to avoid. Feeling good about our choice. Now it's just a matter of getting these installed, hitting the boulevard. Finally got this Rivi on the road. Taillights are in, everything is attended to, it's looking good. Thing is, I've never seen this car really drive. It was delivered to the car show, it showed, and it went in Victor's garage, so seeing it out in its natural environment is pretty darn cool. All right, man, finally, we have a decision. It's looking good, it's driving good, it's got taillights, come on.
That's a wrap, baby. Look at that thing, huh?
Fine.
My old lowrider days, I'm actually at the park that we used to hang out at.
I know.
My name is carved in that tree over there.
Victor's totally excited because that's what he does. He drives his cars, all 50,000 of them. So 50,001, it's on the road, he's rolling.
I got the car I always wanted with the tail lights. You finally figured out. It's about time. I
Took a
couldn't
while.
believe it. Awesome.
Yeah, they totally fit the car too. I'm right in line with Victor's love of low and slow. That's cool. I'm not a race car guy. I love the rear bumper dragging. It's my kind of ride. The facts are, in California, if you want to drive your car on the street, you gotta have taillights. There they are. They're subtle, understated, legal. I love a car that it looks like it's impossible to get the rear tires off, and he accomplished that. Chalk this one off as finished, right?
It's
no more
complete.
changes.
Simple, subtle. Look at that car. It's beautiful.
Nice to have another project completed, but I got my work cut out for me back in the shop. And time's a-wasting. The next thing I need to get together is this rear hatch. When Johnny and I mocked this thing up, we've changed just about everything. The rear hatch is gonna have to undergo the same process. This jumble of parts is actually the rear hatch from the camper shell. I've cut it apart and narrowed it because it's going to go right back in, just smaller. The ultimate trickery in this is making it look like it belongs there. So this jumble of parts will become a functioning rear hatch. First step of the process is to just cut the parts down. I always leave them a little bit big and then trim to fit. If you had to create this from scratch, it would be pretty challenging. The aluminum extrusions, the hinge, So by modifying this already production part, but to the point where nobody recognized where it came from, that's the trick. This is worth it in the end, and the same reason you would put trim around a door frame. It just finishes it off. Instead of a hole in the car, you got this cool factory-looking access point. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I like that. The main thing that I'm doing all of this fitment for is that the original camper shell had a glass back window. I'm going to use acrylic back window, but there's another feature in there that, the aluminum frame is really going to set off the look. Johnny Jalape's got a thing for these yellow windows. So I got this full sheet of acrylic. The one issue with it is it's so fragile, I need to keep the white wrapper on. The yellow window is a pretty daring choice, but Johnny's sketch showed that, and I thought it was so cool, just to bring this third color element into the car. This goes in just like the wood, and I'm gonna have to do some riveting, some gluing, etc. But for all intents and purposes, this is the design. So basically this design stays through to the end. I gotta do some other behind the scenes work. I'm gonna make it all fasten from the inside as much as possible, and the plexi will be glued in place. Yellow acrylic is really cool. So cool, in fact, I'm gonna continue the theme right to the front. It's gonna be in the porthole, it's gonna be in the sunroof, and it's gonna be in the windshield. It's gonna glow. The blue, the white, and the yellow are just, they work perfect together. Got 4 days to accomplish the impossible, and I still have a bunch of ideas I haven't even tried out yet, so what could possibly go wrong? There's a lot of hours in the day. We're gonna make it. The key ingredient in any build is pre-fitment of all the things before you paint it, but the car's painted, it hasn't really been fit up mounted on the chassis. I gotta put the gauges in, the windows, etc., and it's all just kind of like a one-shot deal. I have a strict punch list to get this thing assembled and driving, because that's what it's about. So the whole thing about deadlines is you're thrashing to the end. Took it out to the desert for a shakedown run, and it is really something. It's way cooler than I ever expected. This yellow acrylic just totally brightens up the whole thing. These cool side pods, they're in development. To get them in place and painted really changes the side view of the car. I mean, it's really cool. And this car checks out just fine. I'm interested in going to the car show, having a good day. Gene Winfield has this car show every year. It's the Winfield Watson Gathering, and it's not a judged car show or any kind of ego thing. It's basically just a house party with cool cars. So we had to get there. This year, Gene couldn't make it to his own car show. He's got a medical issue. He's out of the country, so I just wanted to be sure I was here to represent, show him we're coming to his place no matter what. We're in it for the long run. Tom came back down from Washington State, and he's checking out the car for the first time in paint, and he's totally jazzed. He's a pretty animated fella, and he seems to be thrilled with this thing.
It looks way more crazy than I ever imagined it would be. When I first saw it, just the yellow against the blue and the flake in the paint with the sun on it just really stood out and grabbed your attention right away. And that gap in the windshield just looks cool.
I'm going to start it. Tom hasn't heard this engine in a while, and now with this new exhaust, it sounds better than it ever has. He's really charged up about it.
Dude, that thing sounds incredible. It'll be fun to drive. We'll take it out for a test drive later on and see what it does.
This is good. I mean, the thing is, with a car this crazy, you never know how people are going to react. Tom is really stoked on it. And as it turns out, this buggy is going home with him. Did a little horse trading, and it's all good.
We had about 6 or 7 hours of intense negotiations with the shop inspectors, and we were able to come to an agreement that may or may not have included a couple cases of dog treats. Coming out to the Winfield show, I haven't been to this show before. And it's just cool seeing all the 50s customs, and it's just like you're stepping back in time.
The thing about this car at this show is it's kind of the odd car out. You see the lineup, you know, it's got the Merc, it's got the Packard, it's got the Jade Idol, it's got this other amazing wagon, you know, 50s customs, and then this weird cartoon dune buggy right in the middle. You know, Gene is known for doing really out-of-the-box stuff, you know, risky, taking chances, so that's why this car fits in here. It's funny, because some older dudes that I've met have walked right up to me and are like, I knew this was your car. It's like, what are you talking about? For some reason, people understand that this freaky style was coming from this guy. In typical Cacho style, Victor and his entourage are on the scene. Oh, did you see the Sterling dashboard? This is all the Sterling.
Oh, shit. Everything gets repurposed around here.
You don't know that I go into your shop at night and I just start taking stuff off the shelf.
Only Ian will pull something like that off. It's like everything Ian does, I mean, you gotta see this car. And I'm not a Volkswagen guy. That thing is bad to the bone.
2.5 now, 275. I got 2.5 right there.
Victor's a player. He's always in the mix. They got this charity auctions going on.
This is a really, really incredible piece. And this is a carving of the reactor out of a solid piece of wood.
And you know Victor's not going home empty-handed.
6 now, 6 1/4.
I'll go 6 1/4 too.
I got 6 1/4 now, 6.5. That's 6 1/4 now, 6.5.
This car is running, it's driving. Tom's got the keys, and I got one more surprise.
Oh, dude, we're totally taking this thing out. We're looking forward to seeing what it's gonna do.
One thing that needs finalization, but I really needed to show to Tom, was how this whole body lifts up. Instead of doors, now the car is a door.
Dude.
So that's the thing, dude. You show up at the car show, nobody's got this.
Dude, this is crazy.
He wasn't expecting that. You know, if you see a picture with it up in the air, it's one thing, but to see it on the ground, and then by the time it's up, you know, the rear fin is like 8 feet in the air. It's a really crazy show car.
Oh, that is sick. That's ridiculous. That was just, wasn't expecting that. And made it easy, accessible to get into, which was nice, especially at my age. Not flexible anymore. Picturing myself driving into a show with that body, just pop it up, drive into the show, people are just gonna freak.
Tom's like, I gotta get in there. I gotta drive this thing right now. All right, man. Now I want you to know 2 things.
2 things.
This is a really mean machine. This is not your father's Volkswagen.
Basically, my instructions were go straight, go fast. If something's in my way, turn.
This is his first time sitting in the car, and he's excited. It's a very tangible experience. You're in this little shell with this roaring engine behind you, and it feels like a race car.
It's pretty crazy to drive. I thought it would be difficult to drive, not being able to see through the windshield or something, but you can see right through the plexiglass, no problem.
So we're on this big, long stretch of road, and Tom just keeps going. I thought he's just gonna do a couple turns, and okay, great. So he's gone.
And the car totally blows me away. Yeah, and seeing Ian work on stuff, the guy is just a machine. He gets a image something in his head, and he just works almost 24/7 until that thing's completed and done the way he realizes it should be.
You know, when he finally pulls back in, you know, he's all smiles. Cool, man, what do you think?
Oh, dude, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm gonna scare the crap out of myself in this, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's no fun if you're not.
This thing has come full circle. You know, we started with this crusty old blue dune buggy months ago, and look what we got now. I mean, working with Johnny, it's like a sure thing at this point. I always know we're gonna come out with something really unique. But then Tom upped the game with this monster engine and his other help. It's really something. I mean, it's vying for position in my top favorite car. So, I mean, in finalizing this project, as difficult as it is, there's no way I'm ever gonna restore a car. You know, this is just, you know, I'm down the road to the next crazier project, and that's just what I wanna do. You know, the art-inspired show cars. One thing we didn't accomplish in time for the show was the interior, the upholstery, you know, and Honest Ian's custom upholstery only goes so far. I wanted to take it to the next level. You gotta call in the pros. My mediocre upholstery was only mediocre. So we're always striving for the best. Finally pulled Jack out from the frozen Midwest. I got him a sewing machine, put him in a motel. It's like slave camp. He's not leaving until it's done.
Sweatshop.
It's a sweatshop.
Like a sweatshop, yeah.
So it's just a full custom sweatshop right now. Jack's an old friend of mine. He does the upholstery on all of my cars, so he was the go-to guy. And here he is, you know, we're gonna finish this thing proper.
Oh, Ian said that his upholstery wasn't making it, so he called me up and said he needs some help, so here I am. I flew out and we're making diamonds.
Diamonds, baby.
Diamonds are his best friend, you know. That and metal flake paint.
Yeah, exactly. You see the dune buggy. Now are you finally convinced that metal flake paint works? And it is a truck, if I dare say.
Well, that's not really not a truck. It's a dune.
It's got a
truck,
camper shell.
Yeah,
it's got a camper shell.
But
it was a pickup truck.
It's not
dune buggy.
officially a truck.
I don't know. I made these panels in the back. What Jack decided was we're going to put an insert in there with a diamond stitch. So these guys are made from the same panel, just recovered, and these things push through, so they're puffy. Jack then stitched this diamond pattern in the old school seat covers to match also. This project needed stitch work. Jack's the man for that, so here we are, getting it right in the end.